And what is what's up? Nobody's safe around this motherfucker, man. I mean, nobody really has ever been, of course. Again, what makes it interesting is the subtleties of everything and how everything kind of like plays out. It's the subtleties. It's way more of how I'm able to squeak past this, more so than having to deal with it at face value, like for what it is. This was a different part, but I'm still gonna speak on it, like, because it says, again, you're getting it done. To you, it's different. Kids on the internet, but these people are not being stopped. They almost feel comfortable spreading hate with little to no consequences. Like, they don't. It's almost because it's so normal. Like I said before, with the alcohol and other things that are just kind of like, what the fuck? It's so normalized and okayed. It's prevalent. It's okay to be this way, that no one is going to check if it's right for them, if it's actually cool to do, if there's something to really look into, because it's so, like I've said, it's so normal. People get it done, and barely anything, if anything, happens to them. A lot of fucktards on this earth, man. But this is one dude that's been harassing some people. I'm not sure who, but I know specifically Dolo. And that's why I want to speak on it, because, I mean, it hits. I mean, if it was anybody else, truly, like, I felt like with him, there's a real cause. There's really something to fight for. Like, I'm always down to fight for shit. But just not having a true direction to what you're directing this energy to. It was kind of annoying for a bit for me in the past, because I'm like, dude, like I've said before, I'm here for you. I'm here for y'all. There's nothing for me. This doesn't do anything else for me other than knowing that it can benefit someone else in the long run. So when I make videos like this, it's not for nothing else other than because it's for you. It's because I can't stand the way, but like, I don't do this for me. I don't do this for nothing other than what it's for. So I was watching this one video, like I said, dude, because like it's a big enough cause now. Not now, like it's always been a cause. There's always been things I've been talking about. But breaking this down, it seems to make more sense for me now, because of who these random ass lame trolls are trying to get at now, and the lengths they're willing to go. And so, like I say, I watch Dolo damn near every day, if not every day. And for the last 8 months, this man, like, I'm a little, a little late to the party, but, a little tardy, but I'm here and ready to get it in. What's up? It's been going on for a minute, but, I like to kind of get everything, gather all the information, know what I'm really, like, about to get myself into, like I used to not do in the past. And be able to make a way better sound decision on what I want to speak on, because you never know what little bit could come out the next couple of days, weeks. You don't really know until the day comes and you have to fucking do it. So I was watching the video because they were talking about the dude Andrew Wilson, and pretty much saying like he seemed like he was for the people. And I'm hearing so much about him, and I finally got a name to him and stuff like that. So I finally looked up and like what he does. Like what does he do? Like, I didn't see his channel, but like him going to other people's stuff, what does he do? And so I saw what he did, right? It's interesting because, like the person I've heard say, he seems like he's for the people. He seems like what he's saying is, it seems like it's a benefit for all. But when you really dive deep into what he's saying and how he's saying it, and what like if you really look at the full scope, it's not even like he doesn't even know what he's talking about, because a lot of them, I'm like, yeah, that kind of makes sense. But when I think about it in my young mind, when I think about it in my playful, naive, just, you know what I mean? When I really think about it with my kid brain, when I put myself in the shoes of how I used to be, and then I take myself out and then I put myself back in as a man, I have a lot of questions. They do come up because as a kid, as a young man, you know how life to be, and you're young, so it's acceptable. It's kind of acceptable for you to date younger women, or women that might be a little bit younger than you. So you may be 20 or 25 or something like that, and you want to date a 20-year-old. It's a little more acceptable. It's a little more okay to want to do that. Now, is it wrong to be 50, 70, 80 and you want to date a 19, 20, 25-year-old, something like that or whatever? Depending on the situation, that's where they were going through the whole thing of, it's like, it really depends, it really depends, it really depends. And it kind of really fucking depends. They're grown adults. They really can do as they choose. They can do as they please. And I'm making a point of this because the things that he was saying, and I'm saying, I can see him like, dude, yeah, fuck them bitches. My man over here, like, I don't even say because I know who he is, but if I wouldn't have known, I've been kind of like, yeah, man, like, it's not that serious. But only because of my innocence, only because of my innocent head, only because I'm like, yeah, what if I wanted to find someone that's my wife that I really could like, and she's like only 20-something years old or something like that, and I'm fucking 40-something years old. I'm not, but if I was at that age, yeah, okay, if it was, but that kind of speaks on the maturity in a sense. Don't go, you know what I'm saying, to a degree, because some people really are that intelligent at a young age. But I'm getting to this because it's like, okay, dude, I can see where he's coming from, right? So I say he makes somewhat logical points without hearing, so, because then that's where it starts to like going off into something else, right? At first, you look at it as a man, as a young man. I look at it and I go, yeah, because when I was even younger, I go, whoa, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, like, but no, it's not, dude. You need to start looking at women that are your age or a little, and it's okay if she's a little younger but she's mature. But we got to keep on track where we're at in life, where our mental is. Are we really? Because you have to be reminded, hey, man, it's like, right, no, yeah, that's true. I am getting older. It's acceptable. She's an adult, but I gotta, you know what I'm saying? That says something for me that I'm still looking for younger women as a whole. There's nothing wrong for a man to look for younger women as a whole. I would say for the most part, because that's just kind of how things are. We just want younger. Why not? We want fresh. Why not? We want inexperienced in a way. Why not? Because then I know I'll have my own experiences. I know there won't be. So if something were to go awry, I know that's where that came. It didn't come from some sloppy old, you know what I'm saying, from the past and this, that, and I don't know. Some sloppy Joe dude. I don't know him. You know what I'm saying? And now I got to deal with this, but I'm trying to love this chick, but then now I can't because he's still on her mind. Or whatever the case, something like that. That's most likely why not all dudes do it, and that's the point I'm getting to. Now, all dudes probably think that okay, and then, but I don't want all the baggage and stuff. I don't want all the extra, Not necessarily to manipulate a person, not necessarily to have something over a person, not necessarily to, no, I'm older and I'm bigger, I'm smarter, I'm better than you, fuck you. You know what I'm saying? No, it's, I know that it's a lot less to, but then again, you got to deal with the naivety and all the they're young and just doing whatever and they don't know and they're clinging to whatever and they just got away from their parents and their mom and their dad. And now you got to really like piece all this together. And when you really start to do, that's what I think that your brain, that maturity starts to play, because they were talking about that too, 25. Well, you're a 45-year-old looking man And this is where your brain is, and clearly it wasn't fully ready. So even now in your 40s, so for you to say, oh, what is 25? She's mature enough, and this, because the girls were talking about like 25, right, and being like, that's not, and he's saying, well, the brain isn't mature enough at 25 for you to say that a person, you know, at 25 is mature enough or not. How do you really know? It's really based on the person, right? You can say, but is 24 really that, I mean, is 25 really that much smarter than 20? Is 26 really that much smarter than 25? Is you know? And this is where it started to go into, but why? Why does it, what makes it matter that this is the argument? What makes it matter? What is this? What is it? That's why I started to go, because like before it was, well, he's attacking people that I care for. He's attacking, you know, innocent people. He's doing stuff that he don't need to be doing. He's showing a bunch of things on live, people dying and putting, you know, people that I care about faces on those bodies and stuff like that and all this whatever. So I already, like I said before this, have all of this knowledge, right? So when I started to go, but what is it? What is? Then you start to dive into, well, why is he up here? Why is he up here on this show with this host, this dude? Talking about little girls, about younger women. You really start to question it. You're like, right? Like, what is this? And so I was like, okay. And then I started going to, I said, he's making somewhat logical points without hearing the women out for what they're saying. He's on the show. It's weird. He's making points about this. At his age, this is his argument. This is the hill he's willing to die on. That's what made my brain go, He's on a show. It's weird. He's making points about this. It seems like he's for the people. And this is alluding to the chick. But he seems sweaty. But he has a sweaty film to him. Even if he wasn't sweating, he looks sweaty. He looks moist. He looks, you know, smarmy. You know, he looks, you know, I don't know how to explain that, but that's what he looks like. And then I say the girl, so he's like, he got a sweaty look to him, sweaty film to him, right? And I said, the girl made a point about a person looking old. Because I'm realizing, like I said, as I'm really checking it and maturing on something like he tried to argue about and he's not doing, is when I really take in what's going on as I get older, and I really question what these women are saying, like what they're saying. She said the dude looks old. Of course he's older, right? That's what you would think. You would say that. Of course he's older. Why would you? Yes, he's older. He's gonna look old. But when you think about it, you really start to see what she means. When you, like I said, when you see the context of the little panel, and you really start to like listen to the women, because that's all they're here for. Now the women may be on and on this show and know that they're just there to get dragged through the mud and get, you know, washed out. They might know that. They might not. But, you know, him always having something over them. But to the point that I'm saying is like, so she was saying how, which to his credit, like I'm trying to get all this out. Yes, it's a little weird, you know, but I say women are women. Women will do what women do. Meaning, yes, she might be gold diggerish. She might want some things. She might want to go be, you know, she's a pretty young woman, 25, something like that. She's trying to get with this dude 40 something, 50 something, whatever like the case is, right? And she's trying to get, she's a young woman, she has her abilities, God-given, and that's what she's able to use and flex on life, where she can do. Some old dude wants to, he's a consenting adult, she's a consenting adult. It makes sense. It makes perfect sense that that's what she wants to do with her adult life. Let her do what she wants with her adult life, right? If you know, ain't tricking if you got it, essentially. That's how I'm looking at it. So I'm not gonna put too much on the women, you know, because it's like, you know, dude doesn't have to use his looks. He's got strength. The dude doesn't have to use his mouthpiece or anything like that. He's got his muscles or his actions. He's got his body. He's got this strong build to him so he can do things like that, right? Most women, of course, they don't have that, so they'll talk. They'll talk around. They'll know how to use. They know how to converse with you. They know how to, and you know what I mean. They know how. They know how to move around. Why? Because they're not physically dominant. They're not all, right? So they have a way to speak. They have a whole language. They have a thing. They have communication their own way. So I get that they have a lifestyle of their own way, you know? So it's like, yeah, she wants to be with a man. She wants to go on nice privates and islands and get, yeah, and all this stuff, right? That's just what life is. There's pimps and there's hoes. There's, you know, there's people for people. There's parents and children. There's, you know what I mean? There's boyfriends and girlfriends. There's people for people. There's cops. There's robbers. There's people for people. There's always something for something. So if she decides to be a pretty little girl that knows how to work around something and does what she needs to do to get this man to do, okay then. But her saying that he looks old, when you get into spirituality, it's a whole other ballgame, right? Because you start to see things. It's not just like when I see people. I don't see people. I see people for what they are. I see the people. So like you can say she's pretty, but I know, you know, you can say, you know, or she's cute, or he looks like, but when you look past you can say he can wear all of what he wants and look all dapper debonair, but you can tell behind closed doors who he really is. You could just see it, right? So that's where it starts to play. That's where it starts to get a little funky, and not in a good way. Saying that he looks old, and him not seeing what she means. They're both on the show, so it's ridiculous. And that's why I really want to bring home with this. They're all on this, the panel, the people, the host, they're on this show. So that's enough being said alone. Boom. They're on the show. They're doing this, on this topic. I'm sure they might have talked about other things, but I'm pretty sure it didn't go that much further than these types of topics. She said he looked old. And he was like, what? What is old? What do you mean look old? See, that's what I'm saying. All these subtleties and this and the stuff, and the way you women speak, and this, and the third, and what does it mean old? And he look. And I felt in a way that he knew exactly what she was talking about when she said he looked old. Even though he's old or older, he's an older gentleman. There's some older gentlemen that look young as fuck. That don't look, they look distinguished, or they look. She's giving specifics that he looks old. And when, like I said, when you go into spirituality, you see it goes, oh yeah, that's what she means. He looks just like, he looks sweaty. What do you mean? He's dry. He's actually touching dry. He looks gross. He looks like he does things. This is what this man is defending. When you look at, you start to really, when you go and you back up and you go, oh, then you see it. But if you're just in it, if you're in the show, if you're one of the people on the show like that, if you're into it, you're watching the show, you don't really know. But me being on the outside so long and seeing all this stuff, when I look into something and I take a step back in my mind, I go, And that's what I did here. Like I do with most things, right? It's like you can just kind of. So So yeah, that's just it. It's just odd to me. Like, this dude is doing all kinds of stuff that's not cool, and then he tries to present himself on these shows like he's this cool dude that's for the people, that's making good points for, like, the dudes, like, yeah, why can't we mess with younger women, and yeah, why can't we go out and do what we want to do, and what does it matter that I want to, you know? But maybe he's not messing with adults, and that's where it gets weird. You know, there's a good chance, allegedly, he's probably not even just messing with the women that he says, the 25, 19. He's probably not, you know what I'm saying? It gets weird. And like I say, the whole deal is, why this? Why, what you could be, there's so many, there's a plethora of things that you could be arguing about. This is what you want to get into? This is where you stand and where you're choosing to die on. That's incredible, dude. So it's being put on. I'm doing this just to make it clear that, you know, where he's at in life. And even though, like I said, you can have $1 million, I don't care how much money you got or where you at or who you've talked to, what you've done. You're a fucking loser, and you need to know that. So yeah, there's like 7 billion. Bro, there's only like 1 billion dudes on this planet, bro. Something like that, dude. There's only like 1 billion dudes. That's it. So you're telling me out of all these guys, all these goddamn choices in this world, that's where your mind chooses to be at 40-something years old, or whatever age he is? This is what you choose to argue about? How many women? Billion? You don't need 1 or 2 of them, right? Something, right? They got billion. You don't need a handful of, and let's say you're not even trying to wife them up or do no relationship like that. You know what I'm saying? You don't know how many you need. 10, 20, 30, 50. I know Will Chamberlain was pulling high numbers. I know those like that was pulling big numbers. But how many you need? How many you need to satisfy you? Out of all these women on this planet, that's the argument? That's the hill? So that's what I want to bring and put in perspective. That's the hill you ready to die on? It don't make no sense to me. This is your content. So I get that you're trying to argue for rights for dudes. I don't even know what he's arguing for, but just weird to me, dude. And not much is being done about it. That's the big part of it. Not much is happening. Because it's so subtle, because he's not being caught straight out, but if you see it, dude, it's just a fucking creep. It's a weirdo. Straight up. Word.